Hello? All right, everyone, we're going to get started. Please find your seats. We're going to get started. We have a big, important program for you today. All right. We're good? Okay. All right. So, hello, everyone. My name is Emily Manns. I'm the Chief Business Development Officer and Director of Marketing at Invest Newark. We're the City of Newark's economic development agency. And this is part 3 of our Ready, Set, Goal World Cup Ready series. So congratulations, everyone who made it here today. I think this is one of the most important topics of the entire series. This is around legal restrictions around using World Cup and FIFA logos, language, pictures. And so this is really an important one if you want to do things right. So I appreciate it and congratulate everyone on making the choice to be at this one, particularly today. A couple of people that I want to thank and kind of recognize before we get started. So, Invest Newark, we were the kind of initiators of this. We applied for a grant from JP Chase to put on this workshop series. So very thankful to JP Chase. We have been following the statewide Hispanic Chamber and the work they've been doing statewide for almost 2 years, trying to make sure small businesses are involved in World Cup. So I really want to thank Luis de la Hoz, who's the chairman, for bringing this opportunity to us and working so closely with us on this project. And then I also want to thank LISC New Jersey. LISC is a funder of this program as well. They came in when they realized we need a little more resources to make this happen. And we thank them for making this happen as well. A couple folks that want to just kind of raise their hands in the room as we get started so people can network afterwards. So Luis, if you can raise your hand, Luis de la Hoz, again, he's chairman of the board of the statewide Hispanic Chamber. Absolutely committed to making sure small businesses across the state are involved in the World Cup. It's his passion. I want Fernanda Fox Nixon, who's the CEO of the NRBP, Newark Regional Business Partnership, to raise her hand.
Yep.
NRBP is the Chamber of Commerce specifically focused on Newark and the surrounding areas. I'm on the board of NRBP, excellent organization for networking, and it's a great event tonight. So reach out to Fernanda for more information if you're in Newark or the surrounding area. And then I also wanted to have the new president of Statewide Hispanic Chamber, John Lucas, to raise his hand and give us a wave there. Awesome, great. He's the interim president. He just started. So without further ado, I just want to bring 2 other things to your attention. Again, this is the 3rd in a 4-part series. The 4th session will be on Thursday in the afternoon. It'll be focused on digital marketing around World Cup. So if you like what you hear today, you want to come back again, there's one more opportunity. You have to attend one of these World Cup Ready, Set, Goal sessions in order to be eligible to apply for our Ready, Set, Goal grant. Our grant is due on April 20th. At the end of this event, Hilda Castellanos, our senior training manager in the back, if you want to wave, Hilda, she will be making sure all of you, along with some of the staff from the Statewide Hispanic Chamber, get both the information about the grant and then also a survey to fill out to see about how your experience was today. So please look for Hilda at the end. She can help you, direct you to the QR code for the grant and also the survey. And then one last announcement before we get started. There's another program that the World Cup has just launched. I'm not personally even familiar with it yet. It's so new, but it's called the World Rewards Program. There are some flyers about it up at the front. It's a way to get your business noticed during the World Cup. I'm sure it'll be a topic on Thursday, but I think it's really important that folks learn more about it. And Luis is doing a session on April 20th on Zoom. So if you're interested in that, grab that flyer. So without further ado, we're going to bring up our speaker. Luis, I'm going to have you formally introduce our speaker for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Very happy. This was the session that was sold out the minute that Invest Newark announced.
Yep.
And it's not always about making money. It's about not getting sued or by FIFA.
Yep.
The reality, and she will say that because this is the 3rd session that she did with the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And I was very clever. The people will receive 1 page with the most important information. But Tannia had been working with trademark for many, many years, and she was aware about a lot of the trademarks that FIFA put in place before the World Cup. I believe it's like 140 of them. Sometimes when you are not prepared, and especially businesses that are just getting the like the vibe about the World Cup, they will be doing everything trying to promote their business. But if they make a mistake, instead of making money, they will lose money. Tannia, please join us. Remember, this is really important. If you can remember everything that she said, you will be able to go to the YouTube channel from Invest Newark and see it, on demand, the day that you prefer. But the most important thing is one pager that you receive after you attend today's day, because that one pager is really, really important for everybody. Tannia, thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, buenos dias, good morning.
You can use this, or you can take the pictures, right? This is an official one from the World Cup committee. Take pictures and tag them. They will be more than happy. We did it at Invest Newark like a year ago, and they are paying attention. They really want people and the community to get involved. All right? Thank you.
Thank you to the Chamber for inviting me. Thank you to Invest Newark for having me, and thank you to Criollo Restaurant as well. So this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart as a lawyer from New Jersey who has spent her career working with business owners, okay? My name is Tannia Ospina with an A, and my law firm is the Ospina Law Firm. Of course, like any good lawyer, we're gonna start with a disclaimer.
Two-page long disclaimer?
No, this is short. This is short.
This is not legal advice.
Oh.
Isabel, flexible.
One second.
Yeah. Which company? Flexible. It's a PR company.
Okay. So of course, this is for educational and information purposes only. This is not an official FIFA event or a document or presentation, okay? Okay, so who am I? I am an intellectual property lawyer. I am Latina, I speak Spanish, and I say that proudly because in intellectual property, we are underrepresented as Latinas. There's only 1% of lawyers that are intellectual property lawyers that are Latinos, okay? And who am I? I am a business owner as well. I am Ecuadorian. I am a mother. I see we have Ecuadorians here. I am a mother of 3. I have dedicated my career to just working with business owners. I really love being a business owner. And although I have a law degree, and although my dream as a child, who was a big nerd, was to become a lawyer, entrepreneurship opened so many doors for me, more than being a lawyer has, okay? And I really want to share that with you because entrepreneurship really makes people's dreams come true. It makes your family's dreams come true. So that's why I am so proud to be an entrepreneur. But with that said, I also want everyone here to be strategic marketers. Okay. You want me to be in the... Is this good? Good? Okay. All right. I want everyone to be strategic marketers to stay compliant, okay, to avoid having legal issues with their business. And also, we want everyone to enjoy and just celebrate the big soccer games, these big, beautiful games that are happening in New Jersey, and we don't want you to get in trouble. So why should you care? Obviously, we know that there's a large, just economic opportunity for all these businesses. And we know that multiple matches are happening here in New Jersey, right? But the FIFA Association is one of the largest owners of trademarks and one of the largest enforcers of trademarks, okay? And unauthorized use is gonna lead you to get into some trouble you don't want, okay? Now, I am an IP lawyer, so I have defended my clients from alleged infringement. Okay, and some of these demands are from $10,000 to $20,000 to $150,000. I'm not saying that's from FIFA, right? From other companies my clients have received cease and desist letters from. So now, I think that's a lot of money for business owners. I think that's a lot of money.
It is.
Okay? Especially when you're starting out, especially when you are in a difficult business. You don't want to lose any of your money in getting involved in legal disputes, okay? So their intellectual property rights are broad. So what this means is that they own a lot of just rights in words, designs, fonts, guys, fonts, okay? So some of their trademarks are emblems, which are designs, right, logos. Then they also own word marks, which are words, like for example, FIFA, it's just a word, right? Slogans, things that they say as part of their branding. Host city logos. So for example, New Jersey, New York City logo, they own the rights to those logos. The trophies, it's a big deal. You know, people think that it's okay to kind of use the trophy in advertising, but it's not because it's a registered trademark. And then obviously the fonts, there's an official typeface that they're using, and then mascot. So now I have to tell you, this is not a complete list, okay? I did my research and I spent a lot of time, so I am a trademark nerd, right? So I went on a deep dive and I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm spending too much time on this. But they own also international trademarks, and they have, I believe, over 3,000 international trademarks, okay? And I mean, I'm a trademark lawyer, so I understand why they do this, right? Because you have to protect what you work so hard on. And also, this is a very valuable business or organization, right? It's in the billions. So of course, they also have the money to invest in all these trademarks, okay? So here are some registered trademarks, and I put these on a special list because this means that they're actually registered. This means that they're currently active. Okay, so these are some of the trademarks that if you go to the USPTO website, which is a public website, you'll see that these are all registered trademarks. So FIFA, FIFA World Cup, FIFA Club World Cup, FIFA Total Fan Experience, FIFA Women's World Cup, FIFA World Cup 26, and Copa Mundial in Spanish. I have some of the actual trademarks, how they look online. So when you see, this is a public website, okay? This is at the USPTO. So when you look up in their public search, you put FIFA, you'll see some of these trademarks come up. You see that it says live and registered, right? That means it's currently active. And do you see where it says class? There, for this FIFA logo, there is 18. It's registered in 18 classes. So 18 classes means categories. So at the trademark office, there's 45 categories, right? So each category represents a good or service. So for example, me as a lawyer, I have trademarks in law firms categories, education category because I provide education. I also have downloads, so in download category. So they have trademarks in all those categories ranging from retail goods and services. Some of them, like class 1, chemicals used in industry and science, I wasn't really sure why they have that trademark and how they got that approved. I didn't know that they had offered chemicals. So I'm not sure what happened there, but they might have some, I guess, their own goods that they're manufacturing in chemicals, it looks like, okay? So this is a pending trademark. When it says live pending, it means that they still have to submit some additional documents to the trademark office, and then it's gonna get registered. Okay, so let's look at some more trademarks. We have some additional trademarks, some of those mascots, this Maple 2.0, I don't really know where that's a mascot for or what that they're using that, but they're using it. And then some additional trademarks here. The trophy, right there, Cup FIFA. They have additional FIFA 1904, additional design marks, additional words, then additional mascots, which are now. They have. Okay, there we go. So additional mascots, FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup. Okay, now this is the fun part. So this is part of the trademark office, but this is actual trademark litigation. Okay, so I do handle trademark litigation for clients. So this is obviously not somewhere where you want to be, right? You don't want to file any trademarks that are obviously going to get opposed by FIFA, or FIFA is going to try to litigate against you. And some of these people, that's what it looks like they did. So the first one, and this is public record, okay? So I'm not giving you any sensitive information or anything like this. I just know where to look for because, I do this for my clients, okay? So this is called the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, which is basically the litigation board for trademarks. So whenever you get into trademark disputes, if you want to cancel someone's trademark, if you want to oppose a trademark, right? If you say for example, my law firm name is Ospina Law, and it's a registered trademark. So if there's someone that wants to have a trademark in Ospino Law, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to oppose that, right? So where I would go and oppose it is here in the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board. If the trademark office doesn't cite it as too similar to mine already, which I think they would. So let's say some trademarks go through, someone wants to oppose. It looks like that first line right there, someone tried to file a trademark for Startup World Cup Pegasus Tech Ventures. And then they also filed trademarks for Startup World Cup. FIFA had a problem with it, and I think rightfully so, okay? The words that they're using are World Cup. It could be confusing. Maybe some of the branding they're using is confusing. I'm not sure what this Tech Ventures is. Maybe some application. FIFA opposed them. You could see the plaintiff is FIFA, and the defendant is the other company that tried to file those trademarks. And then also we have World Cup of Fashion. They also oppose that because anything associated with World Cup or similar names could mislead consumers, right? That's one of the big reasons why FIFA's like, we don't want you guys to use our name and mislead consumers, and now they think that you're somehow associated with FIFA. So this is why people oppose, and some of my clients oppose trademarks that are too close, and sometimes even in categories that aren't exactly the same. Okay, so what are the legal risks, right? You run into trademark infringement, which is infringement based on your trademark rights, okay? And then your rights can be registered, but they can also be common law rights. So it's not necessarily just because a trademark is registered is the only way that someone's gonna be like, you infringed on my trademark, because trademark rights do start happening as soon as you start using a name, and that's called common law, okay? Copyright infringement, copyright governs content like pictures, designs, fonts, website content, videos. So you can be guilty of copyright infringement if you're using content that's not yours, okay? Then obviously unauthorized association, which means that you're pretending to be associated with someone, okay, or kind of maybe not pretending, but it could kind of insinuate that you're associated with them. So that's unauthorized association. And then obviously false advertising claims, which means that you are pretending, you sort of marketing yourself in a false way to deceive customers, okay? So basically, I know this is a lot of legal terminology, and I hope, and please ask me questions because I'm trying to go through all my slides and I have a lot of them. But, I know if you have questions now, I'm happy to answer them because this is kind of like a good place to answer some questions.
I have a quick question. If we buy, you mentioned the trophies, if we get like a fake trophy from like the FIFA store, right? And then we display it in the restaurant, is that trademark?
So, okay, so there's things that if you buy a fake trophy
They're selling them.
and you,
They're selling them.
so there's things called commercial use, which it means that you're selling it, right? You know, I'm not a FIFA lawyer, so I don't know what they're gonna go after. But it is a risk if you're using sort of counterfeit, right? Oh, it's official FIFA? Oh, it's official. Okay, it's not fake trophy. Oh, official merch. Okay. So to decorate, you know, I think that they would be okay as long as you're using their official merch, right, to decorate the store. It becomes a problem when you're trying to profit off and pretend that you're somehow selling that trophy or you're gonna create duplicates of that trophy. But to decorate the store, you should be okay. Okay?
So I wanted to know, if you're like doing Instagram saying the World Cup is coming up, and you buy your products now because of the World Cup as part of FIFA or whatever, can we do something like that? Where
So you would not be able to use. So you would not be able to use FIFA in the World Cup.
No, that was on the list.
It might be okay, depending on what else you're doing. You know, there's other. We're gonna talk about how you can market legally. Yeah, because to be honest, sometimes I don't. Once again, I don't know any of the FIFA lawyers. You know, they hire people to do their enforcement. So they hire hundreds of people that are searching the internet. But I do know other brand enforcement lawyers. So what they're looking for is not just one thing that you're saying, but it's kind of like the totality of what you're saying, right? Are you, in everything are you saying, does it make it seem like you're somehow endorsed by FIFA or you're somehow associated with FIFA? And for example, I just received a cease and desist letter, not me, my clients, and they sent it to me, and it's a big organization, which I was like, oh my God, how did you get this from these people? And that association owns 300 trademarks, right? And they said to my client, you're doing this, you're doing that, and we're not okay with this. And they sent like a list of 15 things that they weren't okay with what she was doing in her marketing. And I like to get on the phone with people, so I got on the phone with their lawyers and I said, well, I'm not sure why you have a problem with this because you don't have any rights here, you know? And their response, right, there's always arguments to each side. Their response was like, well, everything else she's doing is bad. So it's, you know, so it's basically not just that one thing that you're doing, but it's everything else that you're doing that makes it look like you might be associated with them, that they would have an issue with, okay? So this is, you know, obviously I don't want to say, and I don't want to give anyone legal advice. This isn't legal advice, this is information because I don't know everything you're going to be doing, right? But I do want to tell you to have the foresight when you're developing your marketing plans, when you're creating your content, to do your own reviews, or if not, get help and have a real legal review before you put content out there. And at least you know, okay, FIFA, take that word out, okay? So when you can't just create content and be like, oh, you know, it's gonna be fine. Make sure you stop yourself and review everything before you post, okay?
Like anything else, you don't have to be reference to it.
Okay, so I like to be positive and talk about what you can do, okay? Because I do want everyone to take advantage of this economic opportunity in our state. I do believe, I love seeing people, you know, just generate a lot of business revenue, and hopefully this is very profitable for everyone, right? But you want to do it in a way that's going to be allowed. So what can you do? So you can use generic soccer terms, right? Like soccer, a soccer game. You know, no one can own those words. And the trademark office actually doesn't allow people to use generic words. It is a thing. It is a thing, okay? The trademark office denies generic word mark applications because they don't want people to get into issues they don't want people to enforce generic terms against them, right? Because the trademark office does believe in people's economies, right? And the trademark office also knows that most people filing trademark applications are small business owners, okay? And usually they don't have the budget to fight these legal issues, okay? So you can use generic soccer terms, okay? International soccer, World Cup, the tournament, summer of soccer, global football, the world's biggest tournament. These are some sample language that you can actually use, okay? Once again, for phrases, right, I gave you some terms, but now for longer sentences, you want to say, experience global soccer and excitement in New Jersey. New Jersey welcomes the world. Visiting New Jersey for the tournament, come and celebrate. Everyone's going to know what you're talking about. You don't need to use the word FIFA. Okay, you don't. Everyone will know. So these are okay, okay?
So that bottom one, New Jersey welcomes the world. You can't put cup after that.
New Jersey welcomes the world.
Cup.
I don't think so.
No.
Because I was doing my research and they even they don't do they do the association when you put World Cup 2026. So it's like a really direct association. I have a print shop and it's like a fine line using those words. And now I'm just changing all my branding and I'm just doing like a bigger soccer event. Not even 2026. Or every time that I use 2026, I just separate the words. Because I'm doing shirts for restaurants and companies, and I don't want even me doing the some trademarks or something like that for the restaurants, you know.
So there is third-party liability, right?
Yeah.
Because as a print shop, you can't get in trouble for someone else's ultimate good. So 2026 associated with World Cup, it is going to be a problem because they do have that trademark, World Cup 2026. Okay, but the World Cup. Now, the World Cup, there is I have seen some branding guidelines that is permitting the word, because it's descriptive now, it's common, right? The World Cup. But then when you use FIFA with it, or 2026, it's not okay. So it's very complicated.
Even in hashtags?
So some hashtags are owned by them too, and they're policing the hashtags. Right? Hashtags count as words that you're using. So look, this is my job as a lawyer is always to tell people the bigger risks, right? And then there's safer things you can do. Safer. Okay? But they are gonna look at everything you're doing. Like when I told you about my client, okay, there was some things that I said, why do you have a problem with that? That's fine. What you're claiming is you're overreaching. And the lawyer backed down, right? But they still said everything else she was doing wasn't fine, and I agree. It wasn't fine. It wasn't fine, okay? So they're not just gonna look at that one thing you do, they're gonna look at everything you're doing, okay? All right, so let's talk about what else you could do. You could use the flags, you could make themed food, you could do cultural displays, you could sell merchandise with country flags, that's gonna be big. Okay, you can use general soccer imagery, like a silhouette kicking the ball. Anything that doesn't have FIFA World Cup 2026 and 26, and FIFA intellectual property. IP means intellectual property, okay? You could, obviously we're gonna talk about the FIFA public viewing in more detail. What are other things you could do? You can use things like New Jersey 2026, Soccer 2026, USA versus Mexico, or Mex, right? Stands for Mexico. You can sell local New Jersey fan gear, so anything related. The Garden State, right? The Garden State map with soccer ball. I mean, you guys get creative. This is your time to get creative. You can host events like just around favorite teams, call them Taste of Soccer. You can also host events with common soccer visuals. You can market New Jersey culture and food. right? So try to make your market heavy on New Jersey, New York marketing, right? Garden State Soccer, something else that you can use.
But what about if you secure the New York, New Jersey support for your event?
Well, that's different because
Okay.
then you have a license with them,
Okay.
right? Yes.
Can you go back to that last slide for a second? So we've done, oh, I guess it was you the previous one. With the viewing parties, I understand that like certain size viewing parties
Yeah.
need a
Of
license.
1,000.
Do you know what the size is?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I have like 5 slides dedicated to that. Yeah, because that's tricky too. So it is tricky. Any other questions before we move on?
Sí, buenos días.
Buenos días.
Yo hago diseño de ropa y estoy creando unos diseños para los t-shirts, solo que estaba pensando ponerle el diseño de diferentes países con el FIFA. No,
Nope.
¿verdad?
Nope.
Ya lo sé.
Okay.
Pero cuando yo hago la campaña en Instagram, en social media, sí puedo poner ahí que saca FIFA.
No.
Nope.
Sí, nada.
Nope. Nothing.
Okay, so
She want to design a T-shirt and stuff.
Okay, so we had a question from someone here. She said she's designing clothing and she's gonna use countries, different flags from different countries in her clothing, but then she wants to put FIFA. What do you guys think?
Nope.
No. No,
Nope.
don't do it. Don't do
Get
it.
sued.
Don't do it.
You will
Don't
not
do it.
sell enough.
Okay, and then her second question was, I also want, then is it gonna be okay for my advertising if I do I
Say the
promote
word.
the products and then I put FIFA, like
Nope.
in the back?
Nope.
No, no.
Just
No, it's not. You guys don't need to use the word FIFA, you really don't. This is such a huge event, everyone knows what you're talking about. You don't need to describe the soccer games as FIFA soccer games. Everyone knows. They're not gonna think that you're talking about like, you know, Red Bulls. They know, everyone knows they all know, you know. I think people forget that. People forget, this is such a huge event, you really just don't need to do that, okay?
Pero
Let me
puedo
ask-
ponerle,
Oh, sorry.
puedo ponerle el nombre del country.
Yeah.
Brasil,
Okay, that's what I was
en
saying.
vez de uno de esos futbolistas atrás.
No.
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 None
We'll
of
talk
the
about,
soccer
so she said, can I use the
players,
country?
Oh, yeah.
I said yes, and then she asked me, can I use the player?
Nope.
And I said no.
Nope.
And I'll talk about why you can't use the players' names, okay?
Yeah,
All right, any other questions?
yes, because you were saying about I was thinking about the restaurant owners who want to who want to show the game, and they want to do like social media, trying to attract more people. Is that part of the trademarking of the FIFA or something?
So trademark law governs marketing, what you use for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it would. So whatever you would do in marketing, it would be governed by sort of, they do have protection in marketing. So even if you're not using the exact name in an advertising is part of marketing. And how you're describing something is part of marketing, right? It's like your marketing efforts. So that is usually the biggest way these trademark, portfolio owners have issues with. I'll give you an example of some of my work, right? When I do have some clients that are bigger clients and they own bigger portfolios of trademarks and we police their trademarks, right? So, sometimes we're not okay, even if they aren't using the same exact words. We're not okay because they're using words that are very close, that you almost are pretending to be one of our clients. Okay? So, and this isn't a bad thing we're doing. We're not bullying people, right? FIFA isn't necessarily bullying people. They're just protecting their rights. They're protecting their rights, right? This is a business for them, and they do have to enforce their rights. Because in trademark law, exclusive rights means that it's exclusively used by you, right? Because if a lot of other people are using it, it dilutes the rights, which means that it basically waters down people's rights, right? So as a trademark owner, you know, who here owns a trademark for their business name? Okay, we have some trademark owners, right? Okay, as a trademark owner, your duty is to enforce and police your trademarks. That is your duty, because if you let 10 other businesses also use your name, your slogans, what are you doing?
No control over the brand.
You are not controlling your brand. You're letting people associate themselves, and you're causing customer confusion, right? And you don't want that. Okay, any questions before I move on? What's the acronym?
The acronym might be closely related or look like FIFA, but suppose it's an acronym and it has nothing to do with FIFA. Thank you for the microphone. I love mics. We love to see you smile, Newark. I'm Tiffany Shafani Salas. I have a company called Shafani Brands Unlimited, and I'm also with Newark TV. So yeah, if you utilize an acronym like FIF.
Just stay away from it. Stay away
Once
from
again,
it.
I am not part of the brand enforcement legal team, right? So I don't know what they're gonna have an issue with, but from past history of things that they have had issues with, they do have issues with variations of their word. For example, FIFA void, right? It's the 5th one down. They blocked that from happening. FIFA void, okay?
What about the misspell? FIFA, you put 12.
No.
Nope.
They will definitely have a problem with that.
Stay away from it. Stay away from it.
FWC?
FIFA World Cup.
Nope.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a registered trademark of theirs. It depends. It depends.
I would stay away.
Alright,
keep away.
so what if you would like to brand with your company organization logo, and let's just say you're not branding FIFA, but you're representing a certain team?
Like a country?
Yeah, like a country, yeah.
So some of those teams have trademarks too,
Yep.
But not the name of the country.
but a team.
A team, right, but let's just say the country. Let's just say I want to use my organization name and the country Panama or Colombia.
I mean, I think that should be okay. It doesn't seem like, I would have to see everything else and how you're doing it and see what you designed around there,
Okay.
around it.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm using like a shirt that I did myself, and I just put the flag, just the flag, instead of like putting like the name Venezuela or something like that.
Oh,
Is
so
that
this
okay?
is a shirt that you
Yeah,
created
this
for
is
your
the shirt,
business.
front and back, with
I
my
love
name
it.
and
Okay.
you know. But I just put the Venezuela, I mean the flag, not the complete word, anything related to Copa or FIFA or anything like that.
And F Design Fan Club, I think, as long as, so like I look at that, right, and I look at the images he's using on those shirts, make sure it's not too close to someone else's logo.
Yeah.
And the FD to make sure it doesn't belong to someone else's, because logos are registered trademarks, and it could be registered trademark for someone else. Not necessarily FIFA, right? And as long as I look at that, and then there is something called trade dress, okay? And it basically is the design of something. And there are common law rights, so it's sort of like this jersey that you have, does it belong to a specific soccer organization that designs them like that? So I don't think so. I follow soccer, but not like that, and I think it should be fine. Right? So there's things that are lower risk, but obviously there's things that are more risk. You're using your own, and that's why it's also important to have your own registered trademarks, right? Because you could say, this is my registered trademark. This is my logo, my protected logo. I know it's not infringing on anyone else's because this is mine. I own this, right? I have the rights to this.
So I'm doing hip hop tours, graffiti tours.
Hi everybody, I'm Purple. I'm a U.S. hip hop ambassador. So it's glad to have the world come to the U.S. For our team to represent. So I'm doing workshops. I'm doing graffiti tours here at work, and we're doing workshops with the balls. So when it comes to the graffiti artist teaching, how to write on the walls as a part of the tour, could that be an issue?
What do you
So they're actually gonna redesign a soccer ball.
on the same?
With
They're
markers, with paint markers, they're gonna make their own designs.
Their own
hip-hop
original
names.
design?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's their own original, design and
Art making
they're
workshop.
not copying someone else's, and
Right.
it's not a registered trademark, or also, it doesn't have to be a registered trademark, it could also be governed by copyright. Remember the type of law that I said, copyright governs designs, illustrations. Yes, it's very complicated.
Yeah, just like in the
But it's
moment
good
art.
to
But usually, as long as your own original expression and you're not copying someone else's copyright designs, and I have gotten cease and desist letters because my client did something that was like 1/10 of something else. 1/10, okay? And they wanted a lot of money from my client for doing that. So the thing is that you don't necessarily know if someone's gonna have you can't control actions of third parties. You don't know what they're gonna do,
They
but
had
you can
artists
just,
design them.
what you do in your marketing is you make it lower risk, right? You make sure that it's less risky what you're doing, and then you're not gonna have issues with it. And you have a way to defend yourself, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before I go on? Okay, so what are things that you don't want to do? You don't want to use, obviously, official FIFA language, okay? You don't want to use official host city logos, trademarks, emblems, mascots, slogans, posters, or the FIFA World Cup trophies, okay? You don't want to sell unlicensed merch. So this means merch that says FIFA and or FIFA World Cup in the countries that it almost looks like, FIFA made it. You don't want to do that, okay? You don't want to sell those. You don't want to use anything in your marketing language. Remember what I said, in your marketing language, you have to be careful about using their trademarks and the registered intellectual property. Anything that says official or exclusive for the summer, FIFA, because it is almost like it's almost like you're saying that FIFA is endorsing you. Okay, so that's where you can have issues with. And I know people might not agree with their brand protection, but think about it. There are companies, right, like Bank of America, other sponsors that are paying a lot of money to be associated with FIFA. They need to protect that exclusivity, right? So they don't want just anyone saying that this is a FIFA event. Because guess what? There's people that pay a lot of money to say that, okay? So obviously don't host anything that says it's an official watch party or a FIFA fan party or anything like that, okay? Once again, don't use it also in ads, in products, or your websites. Don't use the logos, the mascots. Don't use the marks in your business name, like you should never do criollo FIFA, right? You don't want to do that. Don't claim proximity to a FIFA stadium or venue. Don't imply sponsorship. Once again, no use of sponsored by FIFA. This is a FIFA World Cup experience. This is a FIFA experience. Don't say join our official watch party. Don't use images or designs that make it seem that you are using a player's name, image, likeness. Don't sell or gift or contest merchandise or tickets featuring FIFA World Cup, because it's almost implying that they are endorsing the ticketing and the promotion, okay? You don't want to do that.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you come back to the number 3 question? When you say do not say join our official FIFA watch party. What if you have license or permit to?
Well, this is obviously, that wouldn't apply to you.
So our event is gonna be leading up to the World Cup, and it's the City of Newark's official kickoff event to the celebrations of the World Cup in the city. I can still use the official in there, right? The city, because it's Newark's official.
Is endorsed by
The city.
the city of Newark?
Yeah. So it's,
And FIFA?
FIFA, we have all the authorization to use the New York, New Jersey host committee official usage of their whatever.
So, okay, so let me just say this, guys. I don't want to give anyone legal advice here. Okay, so I'm not going to answer any one-off questions, all right? It's safer for me, for my license, okay? Because I don't know everything else you're going to be doing in marketing.
Afterwards, we can get your contact, maybe we can.
Okay. But for purposes of this is really just supposed to be educational. Think of me like a professor, okay? I need to be safe with the legal advice I'm giving, because obviously the worst thing that can happen is that you say, oh, Tanya said it was okay, right? And Tanya was invited by the chamber, and now it's her fault I got this. I don't want that. Okay, I don't want you guys blaming me or the chamber for, things that might happen, okay?
Yeah, quick question. So what interests me is feature-specific player likenesses, right? Like I see caricatures of some of the best soccer players in the world. Is that also not safe? And second question, do they have their own personal trademarks that we may not even be thinking about outside of FIFA?
Yeah, so some of them do. Some of them do. This is a new area of law called name, image, likeness, right? And it's not really new. It's always, people have always had publicity rights, but this is something that people are talking about more, name, image, likeness, in relation to athletes, and specifically college athletes, because before, college athletes weren't allowed to be paid by brands, right? And now they can get huge, deals by brands, and it's amazing for them because, as some of you know, the longevity of an athlete, right? Their career isn't like a lawyer. I mean, you have lawyers working until they're 90, okay? That might be me. I love being a lawyer though, okay? But hopefully not 90. But usually athletes, they're athletes for a short period of time, right? So in a way, it is fair. It is fair that athletes now can really just reap the benefits of their hard work, okay? So we'll talk about name, image, likeness rights, but basically the short answer is that it depends. It depends if the cartoon is being used as commentary or is it being used as for commercial purposes, right? And we'll go into that. That's a good question because I know a lot of people get into trouble with that too. Okay, so there also people, you might want to do things like with your domains, try to use FIFA and different things there. Don't do that, okay? You don't want to do that because trademark rights also govern domains and sort of like applications and URLs and websites and what you're using. So you don't want to use websites that say worldcup26deals.com. Okay, yeah. You want to use maybe you want to name a page summer soccer events. Okay, these are suggestions. All right. Yeah. So you basically don't want to use any FIFA terms that's going to help drive traffic to your website. Ticketing promotions, obviously, only use if it's officially authorized by FIFA. They do have issues with this. Fair use. Now, fair use is something that basically is the way that news, news agencies and journalists are able to talk about FIFA and make commentary, right? So fair use means that you can use certain terms. Like today, I'm using the FIFA trademarks by fair use, right? Because I am making commentary and I'm providing education. I'm not, I didn't charge for this event. It is fair use because I'm basically using it for education, like a journalist would, right? And I'm giving you both sides, FIFA's perspective and also business owner perspective, right? So fair use permits you to report on events
and discuss schedules in news context in a way that you are promoting the event, saying that, oh, this game is happening next week, right? You're doing it for fair use. But you can't use that content in ads or promotion. So you're not going to use that content to basically promote the business in an ad. Yeah. Okay, watch parties and licensing. Okay, there's going to be different categories of watch parties and licensing. There's non-commercial small, special non-commercial, and commercial licenses, okay? This basically governs whether bars and restaurants can lawfully broadcast subscriptions with limitations, okay? So there are going to be ticketed and sponsored public events that are going to require licenses by FIFA. These are questions to ask, okay? And this is whether you're gonna, and you should be prepared to answer these questions. So you go through the FIFA public viewing portal. So basically you need to know, is this gonna be in a home? Is this gonna be outside? Are they gonna be shown to the public? Are you gonna charge admission? Is there gonna be some sort of sponsorship or brand integration? Is there going to be an event in a bar or restaurant? Does the event marketing use tournament marks, trademarks? And did you check the FIFA portal for license requirements? That's going to be huge. So whatever you decide to do, make sure you log onto the portal. You're going to have the email to really be able to email FIFA, and just double check to make sure you don't need a license for your event, okay? So when you're planning for the event, figure out whether there's going to be sponsorship, whether there's going to be admissions with tickets, whether you're going to have any concessions. In order to stay as a non-commercial event, right, this is very important. You can't charge admission fees. There can't be any sponsorships. There can't be branded vendor activations. Food vendors are okay if they're not sponsored, and you have to stay within the attendance limits. Okay, so regardless, I still want you guys to go to this public viewing portal. This is the website, okay, and enter your information and see whether you need to have a license for your event. They're gonna ask you, I did go through the portal. It is very easy. You answer those questions, and then they tell you whether you're gonna need a license or not. It's better to be safe.
So what's the difference between the New York, New Jersey watch committee and this? Is the New Jersey, New York committee also FIFA, right?
Yeah.
So we can contact either or.
No, the public viewing would have to go through public viewing. That's the only, that's like the centralized location, yeah. Okay. Okay, once again, merchandise rules: sell generic soccer art, New Jersey pride, cultural experiences and references. You can't sell any of these items with FIFA marks, mascots, logos, World Cup, New Jersey 2026. It's a problem when you put 2026, okay? You can create guides that talks about where to shop, where to buy your merchandise. You can do these things. So you can provide education and also promote your business by creating these things, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is fun. I love this aerial law because I am a sports mom, and my son is going to a Catholic high school next year, and I'm so excited to see him play sports at the school. I hope he gets, you know, all my kids want to be lawyers, right? But I really hope one of them is a Major League Baseball player. And I really love this area of law because name, image, likeness, it basically gives you rights to your identity, to your brand. So some of these soccer players have trademarks, right? But some of them don't. But they are so famous, you obviously know who they are, okay? So what are going to be safer things to do when you're referencing players? Safer things to do are going to be like the silhouettes, the shadows of a player, right? Cartoons posted for commentary. Non-safe things are going to be like t-shirts with Messi, okay? Or using other stars without a license to use their name, image, likeness. or cartoons if you use them in ads or merchandise. That's going to be problematic, okay? So basically, the big rule of thumb, I know this is complicated, but think about it like this. If a player's image is helping you sell that shirt, then you probably shouldn't be doing that, okay? Think about it like that, okay? Okay, ambush marketing, once again, basically you create things to make you falsely associated with the FIFA brand. You don't want to do that. Okay, so here are some scenarios. I wanted to also, yeah guys, I spent a lot of time on this presentation because I wanted to make sure it was very comprehensive, right? And I don't want you to leave here and say, well, Tanya said that was fine, you know? I said most things are not fine. Okay? And, but I did want to give you things that are fine, okay, that you can do. Obviously, you need to market, right? It's important. You need to be able to market your events and market what's happening and take advantage of this economic opportunity. But think about it, and I know it seems like, oh my gosh, you know, they're bullying, but it's not that. It's just, it's in every organization's best interest to make sure that they control their brand, right? I mean, same even with the Hispanic Chamber, even with Invest Newark, right? They don't want people to just be like, this is a Hispanic Chamber event. No, you don't want that. You know, and the only way to really control that is through trade. Even, you know, I'm not like this happened to me. There was I have always done very well with SEO and marketing for my law firm. So there was a lawyer that said that I worked at their law firm, okay? And I was able to get that website taken down because I have a trademark. And I obviously don't want to be associated with someone that I don't even know, okay? So think of it like that. It's not fair. It's not fair to me to have someone say that I work there so the clients can call them, okay? And it wasn't even the type of law I practiced, so it was very strange. But the only way I was able to resolve that is through trademarks. So it's very important for you guys to also own your own intellectual property, for you guys to control your brands, and this is exactly why FIFA is doing this, okay? So safe things for you to do is obviously Soccer 2026 NYC, right? I think this is low risk. A law firm webinar is discussing legal issues. I didn't use any official art. I kept it very unbranded. I didn't use any trademarks except when I was making commentary about them, right? Wow. And then restaurants using flags and soccer decor, right? General soccer decor, no FIFA marks in their advertising. That's safe. Now, high risk is going to be join our FIFA World Cup 26 watch party presented by Heineken. That's going to be a big problem. Okay? So you don't want to do anything like that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I ask you a quick question? When you mentioned earlier about having a viewing of the soccer match, like say for instance you're at a restaurant and you want to have everybody sit outside and view the soccer match, is that something that, like if it's on a network channel or something like that and you're just showing it outside, can you do something like that?
So you still have to go through the public viewing requirements, right? It's restaurants that are doing this in their ordinary sort of way of doing business. Is the restaurant charging an admission fee? Is there some economic benefit to the viewing party? So you still have to go through those questions to make sure you would be okay. And if you're not okay, the only thing that they want people to do is to get a license. Okay? We'll go through the public viewing platform and answer all the questions and make sure that you don't require a license to have those parties. Okay? And I'll put the website up again at the end of the presentation so you guys can get that, okay? Once again, when this is a simple legal review. Now, I'm not saying that this is an exhaustive list of what I would be doing, right? But some things that I would be asking my clients are you using any official trademarks, logos? Would consumers think that this is a FIFA-sponsored event? Are you selling or promoting and driving traffic with the content, okay, that's using FIFA marks? Are you using tickets, schedules, footage on public screenings? Do we need FIFA authorization or public viewing license? Okay, this is things that you would ask before you kind of do some public events and some branding. Once again, all right, I'm done. I hope I didn't scare everyone, okay? That's not my point, to scare people. I really want business owners in New Jersey to do amazing, okay? And I believe in the organizations that support this event. You know, the Hispanic Chamber, the statewide Hispanic Chamber, Invest Newark, Criollo Restaurant. Obviously, we all want New Jersey businesses to really flourish. We don't want you to get in trouble with legal disputes or demand letters, or we don't want you to have to go and hire an attorney to defend yourself, right? We want you to proactively do things right so you can actually take advantage of the economic opportunities, okay? So big takeaways are FIFA trademarks, they heavily protect them, rightfully so. It's important for them to enforce their trademarks. There is a safe path of marketing, generic soccer branding. You don't need to use the players' names. You don't need to use FIFA. People will still buy it, right? There's going to be people that want FIFA official merch, and there's going to be people that want just something to wear to the soccer game. They're not looking for it to have FIFA on it, okay? Watch parties, small, generally okay. If they're large and ticketed, they may need a license. We probably need a license. Merch is okay as long as it's creative, soccer imagery, and as long as you don't say that it's FIFA merch, right? And then obviously always seek legal advice and counsel when in doubt. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
The public viewing, yes. Okay.
Wait,
So
wait.
questions? I have a question. Yeah.
I was thinking for those who didn't catch me the first time, I'm Colin Fox Nixon, President and CEO of the North Regional Business Partnership. So I was wondering if it might be helpful, Tannia, to talk about what the cease and desist process is when you get that letter.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, cease and desist letters. Okay. Sometimes they're scary. Okay. Sometimes they're scary. You know, this one client that she got this letter last week. She immediately, not with all my clients, but this client, I do a lot of work for her. We have big problems right now. So she texted me, she called me, and she emailed me. As soon as she got the cease and desist letter, okay? I was watching a baseball game, and I tried to put my phones away so I don't, do work. And when I saw that, I was just like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then I saw the letter she received. I obviously gave her a phone call, and I said, look, I'm gonna handle it. Don't worry about this, not a big deal. Because these letters are scary. They are scary, okay? And I said, don't worry about this, like, I'll handle it tomorrow. It was like, and then, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I was able to, it's fine now, but these letters basically are standard letters that almost everyone uses, and they basically say things like, these are our trademarks, okay? You don't have the right to use them. You're using them in a way that infringes on our rights. And these are our demands, right? Sometimes these demand letters are obviously obviously these demand letters sometimes ask for money, okay, right from the beginning, okay? Sometimes these demand letters get into a bigger dispute, right? Sometimes these demand letters, you're like, okay, so what are you asking for? They don't have anything. So, I mean, I obviously send them for my clients. I receive them on behalf of my clients. So you don't know what they're gonna do, and it depends on their enforcement right? Sometimes these letters are very generic. One of the letters that we received for my client last week was an enforcement where they sent out, I called the lawyer, right? And they were like, oh yeah, we sent out 100 yesterday. Okay. And we were one of the 100 that received those. So sometimes, and then obviously they don't tailor them uniquely to each person because 100 letters to tell people what they want, it's kind of a lot. But they are generic templates that they kind of use. These are our rights, stop doing this, we're not okay with what you're doing it. Now, my response to cease and desist letters is sometimes like, depends on what, what the situation is and the client. Sometimes we do fight back, sometimes we don't. And we say, okay, and we take everything down. Because usually when you fight back, it is gonna cost you a lot of money. Okay, you have to pay my legal fee, you have to, get into some settlement, and still we might end up in litigation. So, I am very honest with people from the beginning. I say, look, we could fight this, but this is gonna cost a lot of money, or we could just try to resolve this in a friendly way and settle it quick. And I obviously, sometimes, I appreciate the legal work, but sometimes when something's not worth it, I say, let's get out of this situation because we're gonna lose. I don't even want to spend your money, okay? So I like cases for them to be successful. I like to win. I am competitive. I like to win my cases. So I'll be honest with my clients, say, look, that's not something we're gonna win, let's get out. I can make sure that we end up paying less than a settlement. I can defend you my best way, but ultimately, let's get out of this situation. Okay, so to tell you in a short way, it depends. But usually it's saying like, these are our trademarks, this is what we own, this is what we're not okay with. Yes?
So can you say that cease and desist means to stop using?
Stop doing what you want. Period. Right now. A second.
I am a member of a legal organization, D9, and when we get cease and desist letters, it means to stop now. Stop selling. Do not sell any more of our merchandise if you are not licensed. So you're to halt. So that's my understanding of cease and desist. To stop, and then the legal proceedings begin.
Yeah, so remember, I'm on both sides. I defend people from cease and desist. I also send them out. So not necessarily do you automatically need to stop, right? You should get counsel. You should see, if you're getting a cease and desist letter from FIFA, you should stop. You should stop. Okay. But if there's a gray area where there's maybe something that can be done, or maybe what they're saying isn't necessarily true, you should defend yourself. And sometimes we defend ourselves. Okay, so yes, cease and desist letters means they have an issue with what you're doing, but you should get counsel from a lawyer before you make any admissions, right? Before you say, oh, but I just did that. I just sold one of those. Now you just told them you sold something. Don't do that, right? So always go and speak to a lawyer, right? Like another cease and desist letter that we got, we did stop, right? But the other lawyer's client wanted to know exactly how much we sold of it. How much we sold of it. And, I can't tell you too many details, but they want to know because they want to know, is this case worth pursuing and suing them? Okay? That's why they want to know. Because if you sold a lot, there's something called statutory damages. I know this is going to sound way scarier than it is, but basically when you do something you shouldn't be doing, you get automatically charged for a certain amount, okay? And statutory damages and trademark infringement and copyright infringement, and it's a lot of money. So yeah, that's a problem. So you always want to go and speak to a lawyer before you admit anything, before you make their case easier, okay? And obviously cease and desist generally, yes, there's a problem, but let's see why. Like, is there any way that we can come to some sort of agreement? Do you really care about this product, right? There's so many factors to really making up your mind whether you want to fight back or you want to say, okay, sorry, let's pretend this didn't happen. All right, more questions.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Good. Was it too much?
Absolutely
Nope.
not. Okay, I'm going to take it to a deeper dive for you.
Okay.
There is
Fine.
actually a website called FIFADigitalArchive.com that everybody, it has the font you talked about.
Yes,
It has
so all that information from this presentation is from there.
Yeah,
So the digital archive, and then there's also branding guidelines that each host city has issued.
Yeah.
There's so much out there that FIFA themselves have created documents of how they want them to use, their branding. So all this information I got was from the FIFA branding guidelines and the digital archives. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to thank, because when we started a deep dive on this, I was like, oh, overwhelming, like the watch parties and everything. So I had found that, and I wanted to, you gave us so much more. So I went back to look at my original thing. I'm like, oh my God, there's more. So thank you so much for sharing all this, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it is overwhelming, right? So the way that I approach legal is to make it very practical. So I hope I made it very practical,
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
hope you're walking away with some good advice, not legal advice, with some good information, okay? Because obviously I don't want to see people get in trouble in New Jersey. I mean, honestly, I don't ever want to see people have to pay these demand letters. They're a lot of money. And I'd rather you invest it, in advertising, in Google Ads, and do positive things with your business. Other questions?
So let's give Tannia a round of applause.
All right. All right, everyone. So that was a lot of amazing information. I have to say, even like in marketing and putting this event together from the Invest Newark standpoint, there was concerns like, how do we talk about it? What do we say in the description? Like, can we use World Cup? So this was extremely informative. I know I feel more confident. Like, I took a lot of pictures. What can I do? What can't I do? So thank you, Tannia. That was amazing. Just exactly what I kind of hoped it would be. So, I want everyone here, there's some new faces in the audience today. I know some folks heard about this event last night at the East Ward business meeting. So thank you if you just heard about it yesterday and you came today. I know some folks have come through the statewide Hispanic Chamber. It might be new to Invest Newark. So, please don't let this be the only time we connect. We are here in Newark to serve Newark business owners. We have a lot of ways for you to stay in contact with us. We have a newsletter you can sign up for on our website, investnewark.org. We have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have so many vehicles to get information out about programs like this and other services that we have at Invest Newark. So please, again, don't let this be the only time we connect. You're a Newark-based business, we're here to work with you. We're a nonprofit, everything's free. I also did want to point out for folks in the room that may have specific questions or more comfortable conversing in Spanish or Portuguese, several of my colleagues are here. Hilda Castellanos can speak Spanish with you and answer any questions about Invest Newark services. And Liz De Silva is here and she can speak Spanish and Portuguese and answer any questions that you might have. So if there's something you want to have a more detailed conversation on or make a connection with Invest Newark, please feel free to come up to any of the three of us and ask those questions. I also just want to point out George Cruz from LISC got here, one of our funders for the program. He's in the back. Wave, George. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And please apply for the business development grant. Oops, sorry, if you haven't already. Thanks, Hilda. This is our grant opportunity. The link, if you're a Newark-based business and you've attended at least one of our 4 training sessions, you are eligible to apply. Their grant's up to $5,000. It is very competitive. We have money for about 15 of these grants from our partners at JPMorgan Chase. So, spend time on your application. I'm telling you, it is competitive. So, spend some time on it. It's due on April 20th. We also want you to definitely fill out the survey that we have. Our funders like to know that these courses happened and hopefully you enjoyed them and got some value out of them. So Hilda is actually passing out the survey QR codes right now. It's very quick. It's just a satisfaction survey that we can share the results with our partners. So thank you everyone so much for coming today. I hope you got a lot out of it. I know I did. And enjoy the rest of your day.
Let me make sure.